I don't know how I do this every time. I forget to turn my phone down. I do it every time. Okay, there I go. Alrighty, alrighty, alrighty. Shalom, shalom, and shalom. Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. And you know what? That's all right with me. Coming again on this Deborah platform with another message. And I will say this is a lovely evening in which the Most High Yah has made. And I, Sister Deborah, shall and I will rest therein. Sister Deborah has titled this message, Time to Talk. Again, this is time that you can ask questions or give answers, tell dreams, speak on visions. This is a time that's open for you that is in the live chat or you out there that wants to uh, cover something that's containing the answer to something or a question. And it's open. It's what you call time to talk. I want to talk about something that I said yesterday. I want individual to understand. We've been taught so many different ways, and we understand so many different understandings. And what it leads us to be totally confused in what we have as far as wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, to where we tend to embrace either it all or try to make each part of it connect with one another, to where it's hard for us to hear when the spirit want to share its wisdom, its knowledge, and its understanding. Then we don't have the room to embrace it because we have so much other wisdom and knowledge and understanding within us. We couldn't see clear enough to see that spirit has its separate wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from the world. And because many of you all have not been taught that, it'll be hard for you to really get it and embrace it. Yesterday, I spoke to you all about the commandments, as far as me communicating with a guy that was doing a podcast, and I was explaining to him that the commandments in which the Most High speaketh of, he always knew that it cannot be upheld in the flesh. If you take time and study Moses and study how many times a people went into captivity and broken the covenant and broken the law and the commandments throughout time after time after time, they never got it. This is why the Messiah had to come. And after him was the Spirit. It was a reason for that, you guys. And as I'm talking, I'm kind of getting kind of sad and I'm getting chills because I'm realizing, look, Deborah, just as many other things, they missed it. And that's kind of deep for me because I'm just saying something and I'm realizing, and it's getting to me from the inside because I realize what I just said, and it's been missed. And it's not, no one could do to take the people back to get the full understanding. There was a reason why the kingdom had assigned the Messiah to come, and then for the Messiah to hand the baton to the Father, back to the Father, once his mission is completed. He said, and the Father will send you a what? A comforter. And then he began to tell you all that is invested in this comforter. Who is the comforter? The Father himself. See how the Son of Man hand the baton back to the Father. And the Father left us something that even today we don't understand, that it weighs heavier than any and everything that was, and that is, and that shall be. Do you remember back in the beginning? When have you heard, or do you remember where the Spirit of the Most High Yah was inside? When have it been? Never. Yeah, we got his image, and the image of Yah is not his spirit, it's our own spirit, like unto his. We end up with a spirit. He is a spirit, so he gave us an image like unto his spirit. But his spirit is not in us. You see what I'm saying? Only his breath, and it blew in us an image like unto him, which is a spirit. And what we are battling with today is because we keep hearing too many voices in the land, and a lot of us can't do nothing about that, because we be wanting to know, but we want to be right about what we know, to where we end up accepting a lot of wrong just to feel that we're right, or to think that we're right. So me thinking about how heavens had orchestrated the Son of Man to come, and then the Son of Man is to hand the baton back to the Father, and the Father now bring himself of who he is to abide in us. So it's totally 100 million times different than the old. That's why I tell people, be careful running and listening to these people tell you about Torah and the old, because the Spirit of the Most High Yah spoke to me clearly that what you see today, Deborah, is a product of yesterday. So when he says that to me, that make me realize yesterday was a hot mess. And no one wants to talk about it in a way of saying or accepting, well, wait a minute. According for today to be a product of yesterday, yesterday had to be a hot mess. Yes, it was. You know why? He had to sin. He had to sin, the Son of Man. And then the Son of Man had to hand the baton back to the Father, and the Father now sent his Spirit. What for? Because it was a hot mess. It was a hot mess then, and it's a hotter mess today. So we're trying to make yesterday better than today. We need to look at yesterday as being the fault of what you see today. Only thing different, it was hidden yesterday, that the wicked extended from yesterday. Like the forefathers, we are suffering from the sins of the forefathers. We don't understand. It's no one teaching, preaching that type of wisdom and knowledge and understanding, because it comes through the spirit of the Ruach. You see? So what I'm realizing is, just sitting here talking to you all, everything been missed. But it's the Father will that you don't get it. It's his will. It is his kingdom order, his predestined, ordained for new order, that you don't get it. It ain't that you're not getting it because you don't want to get it. It's you're not getting it because he haven't assigned you to receive it. Back then, in the old, they didn't have him in us. We have something greater today that now rests in us. Back in the old, they had the commandments, the laws, and all of this on the outer man for them to train themselves. What part of them? Their flesh to abide by. He knew that their flesh couldn't hold it. All them covenants and he made with them covenant. He made with them all them laws and all them commandments that he set before them. They couldn't keep them, y'all. They couldn't keep them. What lie today gives people this mindset as if they kept something yesterday, so we should be able to keep it today? That's a lie. Had they kept it yesterday, we wouldn't need for the Son of Man. We wouldn't be in need for his Spirit to come. Wake up, people. They were never able to uphold the commandments, the laws, the covenant. They wasn't able to keep none of it. And he knew it before the foundation of the world that they wouldn't. That's why he had the lamb slaughtered before heaven and earth was created. So that leads me to understand is, make me understand is, Deborah, if they don't get it, baby, it ain't your fault that they don't get it. It ain't even my fault. It's the way I assigned them. They're not going to. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is I spoke yesterday about the commandments. See, Moses and them had the commandments on tablets. They had it out of their mouth, out of words, and on a tablet. Okay? Well, that's on the outer man. But what now is greater than what they had is he that's in the inner man. What part of it y'all don't get? Moses had the law on the outer man. The commandments on the outer man. And they never could uphold them, you guys. What part of that y'all don't get? What is it that caused people to think that they're closer to the Creator when they know not wisdom and knowledge and understanding that falls under spirit and truth? They don't have it. And then the Father says to me, Deborah, they don't have it because I have not assigned them to it. So the kingdom already have predestined, ordained, and foreknew all the things in the kingdom the way it is on the earth. Not the way it is on the earth to match that which is in the kingdom. No, the earth don't call the shots. The throne of my most high Yah does. And it is finished. So the problem that I'm having is thinking about the commandments. Let me 1 minute, you guys. What I'm battling with as I'm speaking is the fact that the commandments of yesterday that man could not keep. Never could. That's why a Savior, Yeshua HaMashiach, needed to come. But something came even greater after him, which is the Ruach of the Father, that now come to live in us. See, Yeshua HaMashiach come to live on the outside of us to show us who he that is greater than all things, rule all things. That's one of the purpose of why he came, to teach us how to trust in the one that sits on the throne and to sacrifice the life. Because he that sits on the throne, he wanted to sit now in us. And we think it's about us. We really think it's about our nasty, stinky flesh. And it never was about us. Even Yeshua kept saying, the Son of Man kept saying, this is not me, it is my Father. My Father, my Father. Those that has the keys to the kingdom understand and understood what Yeshua was saying. Because his mission wasn't for you to focus on him. It was to focus on he that was on the throne. Why? Because he was coming to now abide in us. The 10 Commandments and all these laws and covenant, they broke every last one, every chance they got. He kept making it with them, covenant with them, warning them about following the commandments and the laws. So what makes you think the laws and the commandments and the feast days and all this mess can pull up and take its righteous place? It can't, y'all. Never could. These people are role playing. These people are clowning. And they're getting the mass to follow them in their teaching, in their role playing, in their feast days, in their Sabbath, in every action that they can lie and say it represents the Most High Yah. Don't nothing on this earth come down to represent him but him himself. You want me to tell you why? That's why he pulled up in twos. When the Son of Man came, he pulled up as the Son of Yah. There go them twos. So what makes you think that you can pull up the old and bring it into the what they call the new and think they're going to be able to uphold it today in their same nasty flesh? Impossible. It cannot be done. Never was, never will. Why? Because the same one that gave the commandments to them yesterday, he saw and knew that even when he gave them to them, they wasn't going to keep them. They wasn't going to abide by them. They wasn't going to uphold them. Even the Sabbath, they wasn't going to do right by it. Thou shalt not kill. All of these things he knew. He knew that they couldn't uphold and keep it. Why did he know? Because he said, Deborah, I always have a ram in the bush. I knew they couldn't keep it before the foundation of the world. That's why I set the time for the Messiah, the Son of Man, to come for die for all the sins, not obeying the what? The commandments. That's what Yeshua came to do. To die for all the sins. They kept breaking all the commandments. So what happened? Now what? He dies for them. The moment he died, the sin continued. But he promised that something would come. And it shall. He did not come here to tell you he will in you. He did not come and tell you he shall in you. He told you a comforter will come. Because he knew he had to hand the baton over back to the Father. And he was telling you the comforter is the Father's Spirit. And he will come. And Deborah, he will teach you all things. He will show you things to come, Deborah. He will reveal things to you. He will comfort you. He will bring things back to your remembrance, Deborah. All that the Father did when he come to abide in us. And we today, even the year of 2024, still walk around here without that such great power, comfort, teacher, anointed within us. But we proclaim that he's in us, but teaching a different message that represent the outer man. So when someone pull up about the commandments, I got to let them know, baby, wait a minute. We couldn't keep the commandments. We couldn't keep them. The disciples couldn't keep them. Nobody could keep the commandments. That's why it wasn't the Son of Man's mission to come here to change the law or to change the commandments or to change the law or to change what the prophet had spoken. He came to cap it all up by what? Bam! Handing the baton back to the Father so he can do what he's going to do best. That's going to change the whole scenery. And what did he do? He decided to come step in us like he did the Son of Man and live in us until eternal. That's powerful. But because we reject that, we refuse that, we walk around here with the wisdom and knowledge and understanding of the flesh of men, then we would never enter in that gate in which the spirit that's greater in us shall enter in. How are you going to enter into that gate, Deborah? How are you? Because greater is he that is in me, who created the gates, who built the gates, who built the heavens and the earth and everything above and everything beneath. He made the commandments. He is the commandments. He's the only one can hold the commandments because it is him. See, that's the difference from yesterday and today. They try to hold it on the outer man. He comes now to live in the inner man where he know it's going to be upheld. Praise the mighty God. So yesterday when I was talking about the commandment is in the spirit being of the individual. Why? Because Yah said, I would have come and I abide in you. What you mean you're going to abide in? I'm going to be in you. And I'm going to teach you, reveal things to you, show you things to come. And you're going to tell me he's going to do all that. Isn't he the creator? Isn't he the commandment? Isn't he the creator of it? So is he going to abide in me and become one? I'm going to become one in him and with him. And he's going to teach me all things. He's going to comfort me. He's going to show me things to come. But yet I'm not going to be able to hold what they couldn't hold in the old. You're sicker than sick. Because the old never had him living in them. Twos, y'all. Whenever you learn to break everything down in the twos, you're going to be on the right track. But from what it looks like, it ain't even meant for you to get on the right track. Because you done gone down a long road that leads to the opposite of the right road. When I explained this to this man, he said, well, wow, I learned something. You're doing right, you learned something. Because the way they are teaching you all and have taught you all throughout the years, and about now you should be saying, no, I'm tired of believing all of this stuff. I'm tired of abiding by their Sabbath, their feast days, and their traditions and their order. I'm tired of it. I want to live by the Spirit. Who's going to tell the Spirit? Who? What? Now, I ain't going to say food. You would have to be sick to think that you'd rather abide by the outer than he that is the Spirit itself that comes to live inner. So why do he need the commandments? Father, Yah, why do you need the commandments? You are the commandments. Let's go there. We're going to go in Matthew chapter 12. I'm going to give you a little something as an example of how you all have rejected the Father because you feel that he should follow your order of what the flesh of these men and women are saying and teaching. So you sees him as one that has to get under their order so you can understand it. Oh, no, baby, he don't rumble that way. Never did and never will. So when I get to Matthew chapter 12 and verse 1 through 8, when I get into Matthew chapter 12, this is an example of you not knowing who Yah is. Okay? Yeshua is setting the example of himself. But watch this here. Matthew chapter 12 and verse 1. At the time Yeshua went on the Sabbath day through the corn, and the disciples were hungry and began to pluck the corn, the ears of the corn, and to eat. Verse 2. But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, behold, thy disciples do that which is lawful to do upon the Sabbath day. This is how these men are conducting right here today. My glasses, every time I use these glasses, it look like they crooked. This is how the men today of the house of Israel is teaching and preaching this thing. They teaching it outside of the spirit of Yah. Because that's the only way they can win you over. If they take you on the outside of what is spirit and truth. That means now you got to go on the outside of where they stand, where they believe, where they understand it, where their wisdom and their knowledge and their feelings and their personal opinion and their emotions. Instead of being on the inside where it's Yah abide. They on the outside. Why? Because that's outside represents the old. And the old never could get it right. You see? But when he pull up, now he become greater in you than the whole world. But yet we want to deny the power of who he is and what he stands for. Can't nobody touch you when he is greater in you. He is the commandment. He is every law of righteousness. You see? So why are we listening to people out on the outside and doing every wicked and evil act there is? And we sitting among them, letting them teach us, and we can't see wrong in they so-called right because we are not of who Yah is. We're not a part of that. Now listen to this. Now we in Matthew chapter 12, and now they have approached the Sabbath. The Pharisees, verse 2. Matthew chapter 12, verse 2. But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, Behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath day. The reason why they're calling him out is they're looking at flesh on flesh. They haven't respect who he is and who he come to be. You see, that's how it is today. But the what's worse today than it was then? Yah now come powerful than he ever on the first face of the earth. How is it powerful, Deborah? Because now he stepped in you. When he years ago, he was upon them. He was in the midst of them, but he didn't come in Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He didn't come into Moses. But today he lives in you, and you still don't get it. Because 99.9 don't have him in them. That's why he keep reminding this sister, Deborah, I told you my gate is narrow. That gate is narrow as narrow can be. And I understand it every day of my life. I'm understanding it even more and more and more. Because why? I'm beholding it. Now listen to this. Verse 3. But he said unto them, we in Matthew chapter 12, verse 3. But he said unto them, have ye not read? What's this thing what Yeshua constantly telling these people? Have you not read? So what is it that they have not read when they've been following that which is old? You see? He told the Pharisees once before when they was talking about getting a written decree to divorce their wives. He asked them, have you not read? What is that saying to y'all? Exactly what Sister Deborah have been saying. They never followed the order yesterday. That's why they have, he's constantly asking them, well, y'all haven't read? No, they haven't, Yeshua. Can't you tell? They haven't read. That's why they over here challenging you. Because they haven't read, they haven't, not only have they not read, they haven't abided by it yesterday. That's why we needed you to come. That's why you need to hand the baton over to the Father, and the Father needs to bring his spirit down in us. Because they couldn't keep nothing yesterday. So don't pour that crap about Torah. Torah never kept nothing righteous. Only one was upheld by righteous was those who was called to be the righteous seeds. So sit down with that clown mess. They ain't never upheld nothing righteous. The house of Israel and the tribe of Judah. Never. Only one upheld what was put before them and obeyed the one that came down as the righteous seed. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David, All of them was the righteous seed. That's why they're held blameless in the eyes of Yah, because they came from the throne blameless. When they get down to this wicked world, so what? They are my seed. They're going to return as my seed. And this is where people are missing. So when you get here to Matthew chapter 12, verse 3, they challenging Yeshua by saying, but he said unto them, have ye not read? Why do he got to keep telling people that? Have you not read? David did when he was and hungered, and they that were with him. He has to keep taking them back and ask them, have you not read what they did? Oh no, they ain't read it. They so busy today trying to bring their traditions, their new tradition, their new order, their new understanding, their new wisdom, and their new knowledge to grip you to follow their newfound religion. And that's what people have chosen, to follow the flesh of a man's religion and his traditions that he's trying to pull out of the Torah to try to uplive it in this day and time. Something here is greater than Torah. And I think that's where y'all been. You've been up and you've been down. The Son of Man kept warning y'all. All these things and miracles and signs, all these words of me, everything you see me do, everything this, it is the Father. Then he turned around and told you, I'm going to hand the baton. I must go. But the Father's coming back. He coming back with power, y'all. He coming back with power. He coming back as a comforter. He coming back as a teacher of all things. Oh, you know what else? He's going to bring things to your remembrance. He's going to show you things to come. He's going to sucker you to prophesy. Who's going to do that? The Father. How he's going to do that? He's coming down and letting his spirit live in you. So what is the Father's holding within him, in you? Since he greater in he that is in you than he that is in the world, he holding them bad boys called commandments and everything on the earth that he upholds in you for his name's sake. Stand down, clowns. Go fellowship with those Torah believers who wants to hold on to Torah because they want to drown you as they are being drowned in life. They want to take you by the ankles and let you sink where they are already sinking. Okay, so here go Yeshua saying to them, how David entered into the house of Yah and did eat the showbread, which was not lawful. For he too eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priests. See, they did something and they broke something what they would call that was unlawful. But he telling you what David did. Y'all been up and down. Y'all don't know the seeds of the Most High Yah. He didn't told you that he is just the spiritual seed. Y'all don't understand. He ain't gonna hold them blameless. He's gonna hold them blameless. Because something is in them greater than what y'all are fooling with on the outside, which is all these churches, all these denominations, all these camps and cults and religion, especially this Hebrew Israel movement. People should have been got up out of that and learned of Yah from their inside. Learn of him from the inner man, where he said, I will abide in you and you in me. What is he talking about? He ain't talking about your outer world. Y'all been. Now, what he's saying here, he was telling them that this is what David did in verse 4, Matthew chapter 12, verse 4, how he entered into the house of Yah and did eat the showbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priests. But did David eat it? Sure he did. And did those what was with him eat it? Sure he did. Why? Y'all don't know who the spiritual seed is. Y'all just don't get it. That's the one thing that comforts me a great deal, to let me know who's who is the spiritual seed of the Most High Yah and who is not. It's when people don't get this sign. That's one sign. And they get it in the flesh, but they cannot seem to hold on to it in the spirit. Because it don't make sense to them when they can get it on the flesh. And then they're trying to figure out, Wait a minute now. When is it? No, ain't no wonder to it. If he created the commandments, he gave Moses the commandments. Where did he have them at? In him was the commandments. He put them on a form, whatever stone or whatever for him. So wait a minute, hold up. But where did they come from? See how sick people are? Where did the commandments come from? What did any commandments come from? What did any covenant come from? Heavens, the kingdom. So if the kingdom now come down to live in us, which is not so much as the kingdom, but the Father's Spirit come down to live in us, isn't he the commandments? So when Sister Deborah is trying to show you or teach you that the commandments is in the spirit realm, because he is spirit and he is truth. And if he said, I'm going to abide in you and you and me, wait a minute, where are we going to abide in with each other? Your spirit, Deborah, with my spirit. We're going to rumble. So if his spirit is the creator of all things and the creator of commandments, how in the rat's behind is the commandments controlled from my outer man? If he's abiding in my inner man. Once he is in you, he said, I will teach you all things. Therefore, by him being in you and you know who he is and you know that right hand power, you know that stretched out arm, you let him be all that he said that he would be. And I can guarantee you, you're going to uphold any commandments, law of any kind, whether it's in the world or out of the world, you're going to be upholding it. Why? Because greater is he that is in you that's going to cause you to uphold righteous. You think he's coming to abide in you and to live in you and to lead and guide you so you can rule it and you can run it your way? You can live your living the way you want it? No, he's coming to abide in you to get it right from the inside out. So therefore, I'm not bound to the law on the outside of the tradition of man. He couldn't keep it himself. Only he that is greater in us can uphold the law of any source that abide in righteous. That's why we're not bound to the law. They still don't get it. There's two laws, people. There's a law of the flesh and there's a law of the spirit. And this is the part they do not get. You cannot uphold the commandments or any law without the law of righteous. And according to uphold the law of righteous, righteous got to live in you, which is Yah. See, that's what they don't know about. See, no one seems to know anything about that. And to me, it's starting to get to me, Father, I'm just all the way on one accord with you, where you coming from. Because all these things he spoke to me years ago. And this is what he was saying when he said they ain't gonna get it. Because he keep on running. He'll roll up on me and say, didn't I tell you my gate is narrow? And that'll set me free, y'all. That'll make me stand down. Let me get in my lane. Why? Because when he says the gate is narrow, it's a warning to say, I told you they weren't going to find it. So what you thinking? You going to give them information, they going to see it? They going to find it? No, they won't. You just still in the race. Just stay in your lane. And it's so important for me to stay in my lane, because when I'm in the lane, seem it as the world is walking, I can run back to the lane of spirit and truth. I can run back to the lane that has the light. I can run back to the lane that holds righteous. And then I don't have to step into all these lanes that's out on these devil platforms out here in the world. Because I got a safe place that I can run to and still hold on firm to what he taught me. That's the lane. Okay, so here, Yeshua is giving them the lowdown about have they not read when David was went into the temple and ate the bread, the showbread. Now watch this here. In Matthew chapter 12 and verse 5, it says, or have ye not read in the law how that on the Sabbath days the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless? They don't get it. People don't get it. People don't get who these people are because they don't know. There's two seeds, spiritual seed and Satan's seed. You ain't gonna ever, no matter what you say, you do, you think, you feel, go on into your emotions, baby, and your feelings. Because when it all said and done, it can't even come up on that which is spirit and truth. It's gonna be firm because it come from the kingdom. And here he's telling him about the right here. He went on and asked him, have you not read? And this is him, Yeshua saying this to them. And then I think about how he was telling the Pharisees, have you not read in the beginning? That was not so about giving a written decree. What I'm learning is he was telling them that even back then, whatever stood back then as the law and the commandments, y'all didn't keep them then. But have you not read the purpose of it? The reason for it? You didn't keep it then. So I don't expect you to keep it now. But at least you would have think that, at least you would have read. But I today can say the same thing to many. 99.9. Have you not read? You see? Because not only have people bypassed what is here for them to read, they have also bypassed spirit and truth. They have bypassed the light because they have sat in darkness from so many years, they don't even know what light look like. So there's no way they can take on a pen needle light because they sat in darkness for so long. Okay, so he's telling them, I'm going to hold them blameless. And what did he mean by that? Because they did profane the Sabbath day. Wait a minute, hold on, Father, y'all. He said he going to hold them blameless, the priests, and they profane the Sabbath day? Yes, Deborah. I told you, man. They're going to be held blameless. Because they are the seed that I sent down with the light. So the world cannot destroy them. When I say they can't pluck them out of my hand, I meant that. Those are mine. Try taking it out. See, he knows what he created. Just because you don't know, don't mean somebody's going to flip over backwards to get you to know, to get you to feel it, to get you to understand it. No, this thing is over, baby. It's finished. You can be ignorant the rest of your life from this day on. It's over. And I like him saying that because that's what he said about his. Those that are spiritual seed, they ain't gonna be blameless. For what? You see? Now watch this here. Verse 6, it says, we still in Matthew chapter 12, verse 6. But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple. There's one greater than the temple. Verse 7. But if ye had known what this meant, thank you, Yeshua. That is exactly what I'm saying here today. If only you knew. They didn't know, and many of you all don't know. Sister Deborah could be on here 1,000,000 years and you still wouldn't get it. Why? Because heaven's had to assign you to it. So heaven's got to assign you to get it. So we can role play this thing to the end. It don't matter. You still got to get it through the spirit and through truth. This is not what you receive because you say you believe. This is not something you receive because you read, you study. You listen to all these voices in the land. No. This is a sign from the kingdom, from the throne. Let me go and say it like that. From the throne. Let me say it again. From the throne. Okay? So he's telling them, he said in verse 7 to the Pharisees, but if ye had known what this meant. Now he's saying this to the Pharisees. How is it that the men and women today get what he's saying? You will never get it through your flesh. You will never get it through these bishops, priests, apostles, teachers, prophets, prophetess, seers, Maureen, watchmen. You won't get it from that end. You're only going to be able to get it through his servants. In this day and time, through his servants, the prophets. That's why you got all these people going up against prophets, and they have every right to go up against the prophets. That's their only way out. These pastors that took on position that they don't understand, they never should have taken. You go down at the toe, the bottom toe. You don't stand at the top pedestal because he did not put you there. He had a chain of command which had orders. These people running these churches and running these camps, running these temples, running these everything with no order. And they got a man calling himself the pastor. They're supposed to be the fifth or the fourth under the pole. It's no place that call itself a church. It should have an apostle, a prophet, evangelists, teachers, and pastors. But when you only have a pastor ruling, that's hell, y'all. Hell over, hey, that's all you see on YouTube. Everybody seeing what these pastors really are. That's why they getting away with being having sex in the and having wives and having all this here abomination and this lust, committing adultery and fornication. This is why, because flesh have put them on the highest pedal to rule them. No, there's no order. See, the true church got order. The true body of homosexual got order. And I'm a living witness to tell you, it's no way I'm going to cross the order of the Most High Yah and put myself above everybody and open up a church and rule it, talking about I'm a prophet. No, he got order. He got some order set there. But they don't follow that. And the pastor always came from the bottom order. Where they at today? On the top. And the world and everybody in the world is following their tails. And there's no order, meaning no one to check them. No one to prophesy, no prophet to come in or a prophetess. Wait a minute, you can't do that. No apostle say, freeze it. We cutting that out. We don't do that. See, they ain't got no order. So they took on an order and they don't need no order. Why is it? Anybody in the live chat, why is it they don't need no order in the churches today, in these camps and in these organizations and in these temples and in these cathedrals and all this here where all the priests is at? Why is it they don't need no order? Anybody in the live chat, why is it that they don't need no order? They don't need to follow under no order. See? They don't need to follow no order. Matthew chapter 12 and verse 7. If anybody come up with why they don't need order, or why they don't need to follow order in these churches, temples, academies, cathedrals, whatever they call them, churches. I've said that these places where everybody's leading. Why is it they don't need to follow any order or chain of command? Why is it? Somebody should be able to answer that. At least one person should be able to answer that. Okay. But in Matthew chapter 12 and verse 7, it says, but if ye had known what this meant, I would have mercy and not sacrifice, ye would not have condemned the guiltless. If only you knew. That's what Yeshua was telling them. If only you knew what this meant. They don't know. He's sitting there telling them they don't know. They didn't know who he was. He's standing here as the Son of Man and got the Son of Yah with him. Wait a minute now. How are you going to tell somebody's doing something on the Sabbath day? Wait a minute. I have the Sabbath in me. What are you talking about? I am the Sabbath. The Sabbath is in me. So they don't have to keep no order. Because man said the order is to be kept this way and that way. He said, wait a minute. I'm the Son of Man, came down with the Son of Yah. He is the Sabbath. That's the same way Sister Deborah is telling y'all about the commandments. The commandment is not something because they playing with you all and whooping y'all tails with it. That's on y'all. Because ain't no light in you. Ain't no spirit in truth. They can whoop your tail up and whoop your tail down and still keep it going. But he's sitting here saying in Matthew chapter 12, why? Because the Pharisees was trying him regarding the disciples that was with him that was eating corn while they was going through the cornfield on the Sabbath day. If only you knew, he said on verse 7, what this meant. They don't. They didn't then, and people don't believe it, don't understand it now. And the reason why no one answered that question, I'm going to show you how basic it is. How to spirit, when you have the spirit, it should shoot out of you because you already know. The reason why the question I asked was about Why is it that the churches and the priests and the temples and all of them, the pastors and the bishops and the evangelists and the prophets and the prophetess, all of them that's out here cutting up from the floor up anyway, portraying all these roles and everybody putting them on a pedestal? Why is it that they don't need to follow? Because truth and righteous in spirit and truth, it's not speaking of them. So they don't have to go by this. It's not for them. You see, it's not for them. So that's why they can do whatever they want to do and how they want to do it and say with the way they want to do it and the way they want to do it, because it's not for them. It's for the body of Hamashiach, which is the true saints in church. It's not for man-made wannabe, reform and in control. Our mouth control this here. Our flesh rule this here. Oh, no. That's not the church, y'all. That's not the body of Hamashiach, y'all. That's not it. That's why they don't have to follow the order, because it's not it. He's not talking to them. They just don't know he ain't. Because for so many years, they grab this book and they try to teach from the book itself, and it's going to always lead them down a rabbit hole. Until one day they wake up and realize they've been living that life down a rabbit hole, and they ain't about to come up out of that rabbit hole and go no other way different. Why? They done led too many of you all astray. Because it's y'all don't understand. Say, for instance, Sister Deborah. And say, for instance, I led, let's say 30,000 people. Let's say 100,000 people to believe it things this certain way. Okay? When I led them all these years, do you think that one would come back and re-speak what all that I taught and correct everything I spoken? No, they won't. No, I won't. I would, but I'm just saying the reality of truth and spiritual. I wouldn't want to teach people all that to get 100,000 likes and subscriber and been told y'all the lies. And that's why I saw a lot of our men. It's been 6 years now on this YouTube. I've seen all the men that I follow. They're gone, y'all. They're gone. And then you see several of them into this here third eye and science. And they went back to the Vomit. They went back to all the books of the heathens. Now, that's what they go under now. Trying to show you different science that shows that Yeshua never exists, or Yah has more than one of him. You know, all these things, the opposite of what they taught 6 years ago. It is off the chain. And that's where people's mindset is also. You know, everybody is constantly chasing, going to and fro, trying to get comfort here and there, not understanding that it don't take Yah to have you chasing your tail all these years. And you wake up and you realize, hey, I didn't chase my tail all these years. Which way do I go now? So here Yeshua is saying in verse 7, he says, Matthew chapter 12 and verse 7, because they trying him because the disciples was eating the corn on the Sabbath day and they was plucking it and eating it while they were going through the cornfield. So they figured, hey, don't you know it's the Sabbath day? They shouldn't be plucking that. They shouldn't be eating it on the Sabbath nor plucking it. You see how sick tradition of man is? You see how man then tried the son of man? What do you think that man is doing today? It's way behind that. They got you hooked up to the Sabbath days, the feast days. They got you hooked up into all these things, traditions that never upheld. Those traditions in Torah never upheld the righteous will of the Father. Never did. That's why he came to now abide in us, to help us to do just that. And how we deny him and reject him and curse him is when we turn around and say, I don't want what you have to offer me in me. I don't want you to come live in me and show me the way to spirit and truth and to righteous. I don't want you to show me the light. I want to live in Torah, because they said Torah, this and that. Torah never kept it, y'all. The seeds of the spirit upheld it. The ways or the order of Yah. seeds. And you got to understand who the seeds of the Spirit is. Those were those that you hear stories about. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, you see, David, Solomon. Those were seeds of the Spirit. And then when you get to Matthew chapter 1, it lays all the ones that was the seeds. And then you understand all of them was the seeds couldn't have upheld Torah in any type of righteous. It couldn't. They were to uphold. Those were the spiritual seed that came under the generation of Yeshua HaMashiach. Those were spiritual seed that represent the coming of him. That's why when Ruth and Naomi, they was running around here chasing, because her Ruth's husband and her sons had died. They were still the detachment to the son of Yah. But when they died, now Ruth and Naomi got to chase the bloodline to pull Bozak back into the order of the Messiah, which was spiritual bloodline. They made a big thing. When they teaching Ruth and Naomi, I said they lost with a cause and without one. Boy, when I got in that book, I got in and I was like, wait a minute, Father, they missed the whole thing. You mean to tell me they get in this book and they get totally lost with the cause and without one? Because all it takes is the Spirit of Yah to live in you, to teach you what this book is actually saying and what is not of him. Okay, so here go Yeshua telling them, in verse 7, Matthew chapter 12, verse 7, but if you had known what this meant, thank you, I would have mercy and not sacrifice. Ye would not have condemned the guiltless. The guiltless, baby, because they are blameless in the eyes of the Most High Yah when y'all finish. See, they bent. They are bent up. That's just how today is. People would turn from the spirit and truth and the light to stay strong and firm in darkness, because it support their emotions, their feelings, their wisdom, their knowledge, and their understanding. But what they did not know is you do have a wisdom, you do have a knowledge, and you do have an understanding. It wraps in your flesh, where your feelings and your emotions are at, and you teach from that level. But when you are of the Ruach HaKodesh, all things come to you in spirit and truth, so that spirit and truth contain your flesh, the order in which heaven has orchestrated all things. Okay, now this is the last verse, Matthew chapter 12 and verse 8. Here goes the Son of Man. For the Son of Man is Lord. You see that lowercase Lord? Oh, Lord, even of the Sabbath day. You see? So when the question was asked about the commandments is in us, Yeshua is telling them, I am the Sabbath day. What are y'all talking about? What did he say? He said, for the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath day. So if he want to break the Sabbath dates, which man think it's a tradition to play, and the order and way they see it, he's stepping into them. Have you not read it? See, you can't apply all of this on those who are the spiritual seed, because they are breeded from the spirit to the flesh, not from the flesh to the spirit. And this is what you see today. People are learning from the outer man, and they're learning it in their flesh to where they're not getting anything in the spirit. They're not getting anything in the spirit. Why? Because they're learning so much on the outer man and from so many people, they just going to and fro, believing any and everything they can hear. And they apply it as if it's under spirit and truth, and it is not. And what did he say in verse 7? But if ye had known what this meant, that same thing I say today. Had you known what this meant, then you understood that you've been off deep somewhere else. You ain't got it right. So the Father is the creator. When he wrote on stone for Moses to bring the commandments down, the 10 commandments down, for him to bring it among the people. Did you think that was it? Don't forget, he broke them, didn't he? Didn't he have to take his tail back up there and get it another set? I wonder, where did he get it from? I wonder, how did Moses threw the tablets down and destroyed them and went back up again and got it again? I wonder who gave that to Moses. You see how sick people are? The kingdom of heaven gave it to him like he gave it to him the first time. Signed it on stone for him. This is why we don't know the power of the Most High Yah's stretched out arm and right hand. That's where he say, and they deny the power therein, because they don't understand the power of who he is. Because we keep seeing him like into the flesh of man, the tradition of man, the order of man, the commandments of man. No, wait, baby, hold up. What sense does it make for him to be greater in you than he that's in the world? Greater in you? Where's he at? In the spirit realm. Than he that is in the word. So wait a minute. If you are greater in, Sister Deborah, than anything in the world, what is on the outside of Sister Deborah that can override what you are in me? Nothing. My flesh cannot keep a commandment. Only thing can keep the commandment is he that is greater in me, that has tamed my spirit how to uphold the commandments. And by him teaching me in the inner man how to uphold the commandments, then my flesh itself, fall down 24 to the commandment that is in me. If I'm looking for the commandments and the traditions of man and the feast and all these feast days and all these Sabbath days, the way they set it up, I'm lost with the cause and without one. Why? Because something is greater than them on the outside. Because he's in the inside. Ain't nothing on the outside of us. And when I say the outside, don't you keep forgetting you flesh. That nasty thing is your worstest enemy. So if your worstest enemy is flesh, how in the rats behind is your flesh going to have the sense to keep a commandment? It can't. It fights up against the spirit. Isn't that? Have not you read? The flesh is warring against the spirit. Why is it warring against the spirit? Because they have different mindsets. They have different wisdom. They have different knowledge. They have different understanding. One have Yah, the other one Yah don't deal with. So therefore, what makes you think that your flesh has the sense to abide by anything that is spirit and truth within you? The same one that says he'll come in and he'll abide in you and he'll teach you all things is the same one that took his finger and wrote on those stones for for Moses to bring down. And Moses threw it down and destroyed it. He took his tail back up and he wrote him another one. That's the same one that said, I will come. Yeshua warned us he would come and he will be a comforter. Oh, Deborah, he would teach you all things. Deborah, he would show you things to come. He will reveal things to you. He will be your comforter. So why would I accept all this on the outside to be all that and high and degrade such a great and excellent and perfect Most High Yah spirit in me? This is what he's coming for. See, we thinking he's coming for Israel on the outer man, in the flesh. No, baby, you don't understand. He's coming for what is his in the spirit of Israel. That's why he's going to deal with that flesh. He said, Deborah, I'm going to clean that filth of that flesh. Deborah, I'm going to give that flesh a new heart. Huh? I'm going to give that flesh everything it needs to be upheld on Mount Zion, where I'm going to get the glory. So while you thinking that it's about the way man is constantly training you and teaching you, getting you to believe it is, you go right ahead. Enjoy it, because this that you're going through and you're experiencing and you're believing is actually measuring where you're going from here. Where you are going from here. And a lot of people don't have no idea. Just like he told you, the priest went in and they profane. He said they profane my Sabbath. And I'm going to hold them blameless. Tell them again, Deborah. I'm going to hold them blameless. Why? Because they steal my spiritual seed, come down to do my mission. I'm going to hold them blameless. And that's what Yeshua is saying. How y'all going to talk about my disciples eating corn? Do y'all know I am the Sabbath? The Sabbath is with me. So what do y'all know what you're talking about? No, they ain't got sense to know that. Because right today, 99.20 billion, we ain't got that many on earth. I said 10 billion have no idea that the commandments is in the spirit of Yah. And he come to abide in you. What more can you ask for? You know why? People so eager to want to follow order from the outer man. And every verse telling you about your flesh shows you that your flesh can't hold its own urine. But we want it to be able to walk upright with Yah, look right, feel right, appear to be right, think right. You know, that's the flesh. The flesh don't hold nothing righteous. But when that greater one that comes in to live in you, it get that flesh under the subjection. And it teaches your spirit how to keep your flesh in line. But when we stand around and we think everything has to be the way man has said it is. Oh, man said it. The man said it. Oh, it's the way man said it. It's the way they said it. They taught us and they believe it. We are a people that been like we are since the beginning of time. And I just thank him for having his small remnant. Whether I'm in that remnant or not, I just thank him for having his own amount as a remnant that he's going to take out. Because in them is blameless. That's why he's going to clean them up. Because in them is blameless. Let me say it again. In them is blameless. What did he tell them? Matthew chapter 12 and verse 7. But if, watch this here. Listen to what 7 says. But if ye had known what Sister Deborah meant. Watch this here. I would have mercy and not sacrifice. You would not have condemned the guiltless. Why are they guiltless? Because they are the spiritual seed of the Most High Yah. So the flesh can't measure what they have done, what they say, what they do. You can't mess with that. Same thing I say about commandments. Commandments is not for man. What's it? Commandment is not. Man is not. Well, man is not for commandments. Commandments is for man. Is it something like that? It's letting you know we bent. What did it say? Let me find that verse and I'm going to show you what I mean. Let me see if I can pull that up. Commandments is for man and man. It's not for commandments. Let me see where it says. Mark 7. I think that's where it's at. Okay, then another one said 15. Let me get to the right verse. Let's say, oh no, let's see where it's at. It says Mark 7 and verse 8. I don't think that's it, but we'll see. I don't know, it might be. Mark 7. Mark 7 and verse 8. Let's see if that's it. So that's not it. Okay. Ooh, Father, y'all, you know, ooh, he knew what he was doing when he gave me that. Let me get this here for you. Commandments were for man and not man for commandments in the Bible. It keeps saying Matthew's 15. Matthew's 15. Did someone else? Oh, no one else got it. Matthew's 15 and verse 9. Is that right? Matthew 15 and verse 9. I'm going to have to get that. This one here in Matthew's 15 and verse 9, it says, but in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines of commandments of men. You see what I'm saying? See, this is what I want to show you, where Yeshua in time past spoke a different, showing you there's a different commandment. See, y'all thinking that the commandments is what was put on just the stones of Moses. You don't understand that was put on there also upholds just and righteous. That's a commandment. It's what holds those commandments up. It's called righteous. See, and people don't get that. They think these 10 commandments and all these 600 some commandments can be held by your flesh. Use a lie, because flesh do not accept righteous. In case y'all didn't know that. Now watch this here. Matthew chapter 15 and verse 9. But in vain they do worship me, teaching for the doctrines of commandments of men. So he knows already. Man got a way of teaching the commandments of men. And that's going back to what I said. Deborah, get in your lane. Get in your lane, baby. And it's so dangerous in what he's saying. He said, get in your lane, because you ain't gonna find nobody that's gonna walk through the broad gate. I mean, the narrow gate. Get in your lane, so you're gonna be okay. So when you get to Mark, it says, oh, what was my verse in Mark? Oh, don't tell me I missed it. I got to really get to that. Wait a minute. I got to get to where the commandments in Mark chapter, I think it was 7. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching the doctrines of commandments of men. You see, right there, he's showing you way back with his time. You sure? Men are teaching doctrine of their own commandments of men. Now, the strange thing about this, I would have never thought to get tied up in this, and maybe because I am a prophet. This here is for those who do the teaching and in the laying out of the order of righteous. But listen to what it says. Howbeit in vain do they worship me. How do they worship me? So y'all running around here thinking you worshiping the Most High Yah because all these people are setting their own order according to their way. Let me explain something to you again. Heaven's only created everything in twos. Everything in twos. Want me to tell you what you missed? Let me tell you what you missed. When he turned around saying denying the power therein, you know why? Because when he gave the power, it is his power. You see? But he gave his power and called it the Son of Yah. He broke that bad boy up in twos. His own power, but yet it's still him. That's who came down with the Son of Man, was the Son of Yah. That was his power, and his word came down with the Son of Man. He broke himself up into twos. The whole life, living, everything is broke down in twos. You got life and spirit in your flesh. I mean, in your body, and you got the flesh, which is your living, broke down in twos. And the problem that people gonna always have, because it's over. It's not able and never, ever, ever able to come to the knowledge that everything from the kingdom throne was broke down in twos. So as I hear here in Mark chapter 7 and verse 7, it says, howbeit in vain do they worship me. How is it they worshiping me? Deborah, how are they worshiping me? In vain. How is it they worshiping me? Watch this here. Teaching for the doctrines, the commandments of men. So when this man asked me, since you said now listen to he said, since you said you salute and you accept Deuteronomy 28, then you saying that you accept all 600 commandments. Back it up, bro. Back that thing down. I didn't tell you that. All them laws and commandments, that's from the flesh of man. That enhance that so that everybody can follow their traditions. And here he's sitting here telling you, how could they have worshiped me? And they worship be in vain because they've been doing it for so long. Watch this. Teaching for the doctrines of commandments of men. See, y'all don't know how to divide. There's two commandments, one in the spirit and one in the flesh. You got to know who you're going to serve. Or you thinking that your flesh is the servant? It serves Yah? Or do you think that the spirit serves Yah? Which one is greater? Which one gonna stand before the throne of the Most High Yah to be judged? You think your flesh coming up there? So you better get with the program and understand the difference between flesh and spirit. That's why your flesh your worst enemy, because it got you believing it's all that and some. Oh, I can go in the order of this man or this man. I can hear what they say, and they teaching this, they teaching that, and they ain't doing it with making you a fool. But the Father is suffering them to do so. So in verse 8, it says, for laying aside the commandments of Yah, ye hold the tradition of men. Wait a minute, hold up, Father Yah. Wait a minute, hold up, Father Yah. You mean you got a commandment separate from man? Always did. That's how they won y'all over. That's how when y'all first got into this awakening, first thing the main thing on the top of the list was keep the commandments in the law. Keep the commandments of the law. Sit your tail down. You can't keep it, nor can I. But when that ruach pull up in my spirit, bam, all things is uphill. See, they don't know nothing about that. That's that power, he said, denying the power, Deborah, they're in. They want to hold on to the flesh. They want to pour this flesh to know everything. Want to think the flesh got it made, know this and know that. The flesh ain't got nothing but you in the graveyard. And that's about it. And that's what he said. Flesh is the only thing that knows where it's going. It knows its destiny already. Okay, so let's go over that again. Mark chapter 7, verse 7. Howbeit in vain do they worship me. Why are they worshiping him? Because they worship him in vain. And that's what they're doing today. That's what they're doing today. And they think they're doing something because they got many of you all falling behind them. Okay, and y'all saying, let him alone. You know, I told you, I poured up two gates. One is the broad and one is the narrow. Everybody's way has been set from the throne. So let them go where they want to go, Deborah. Just don't get yourself caught up in it from the floor up. Don't forget you got a lane. Get in it. Get in your lane. Now watch this here. Verse 7. Howbeit in vain do they worship me. How is they worshiping me in vain? Deborah, how are they doing that? Watch this here. Teaching the doctrines of the commandments of men. Not women, not females, but men. And a lot of times people get on here and thinking Sister Deborah is bashing men or saying this about it. But you know what? One of the saddest things, I look back at my sons. I think about my daddy. How Yah held them in a higher standards. And even them themselves don't know the liability that Yah put on them. And they're going to walk from beginning to the end, not knowing their liability from the kingdom, not from the earth that tells you what you are. See, what these men today is, they got these men telling them who they are. Oh, you a king, you a leader, you a ruler. You lead your household. Look, who gives a rat's behind about leading the household when y'all say your worstest problem and your enemy is in your household? He said in your household, you're going to be 2 against 3 and 3 against 2. That's what Yeshua warned us about. He told a man, your worstest foe, meaning enemy, is in your household, meaning coming out of your womb. He ain't talking about your wife. He talking about what's coming out of your womb. It's going to be your worstest enemy, along with yourself. And we running around here thinking, oh, no, He already told us all of that. And it's many verses telling us that. That's why I'm coming to bring that bad sword, Deborah. They thinking I'm coming to bring the sword to bring them together. I'm coming to rightly divide them bad boys. Get minds away from theirs. Getting this seed away from that seed. I'm coming to claim minds. To separate minds. Daughter against mother. Father against son. What's all that about, Father? Y'all, Deborah, I'm telling you what's in their household. Men didn't even understand. All them babies up in your household, all them babies you left here, are seeds that you birthed out of your womb. And when you see this world and these young people the way that they are and all this chaos going on, it came out of your womb. And you're going to meet me at the throne with it because I'm going to reveal it to you. Okay, so here he says in verse 8, for laying aside the commandments of Yah. Who would do that, y'all? Who will lay aside the commandments of the Most High God? Who would do that? Now listen to what he says. Yeshua is saying in Mark chapter 7, verse 8, for laying aside the commandments of Yah, ye has hold the traditions of man. Now in verse 7, he says you have held the traditions of man's commandments. And here he said in 8, he's telling you that you have hold the traditions of men as the washing the pots and the cups, and many other such things ye do. Because what they did is they took this book without the power. And by you not knowing what the power is, they can sling anything your way and successfully have done just that. That's why Yeshua pulled up and said, y'all run y'all tell how y'all worshiping me and keeping the commandments of the tradition of man. He's letting you know there's 2 commandments. And this is why I said people are lost with a cause and without, because they're too ignorant to understand that there's 2 commandments, baby. There's a commandment in the spirit and a commandment in the flesh. The commandment in the flesh been broke ever since the beginning of time. They didn't broke that commandment. They didn't broke every commandment in the flesh. So what do you need? You need this commandment in the spirit to uphold you, to get you right. There's 2 commandments. Everything he did, he broke it down in 2s. Nobody do the study. Nobody do the search. But they run around here chasing all these lost books and all these found books and all this other stuff. And you far from the book of the bosom of the Most High God. How about that book? And that's come through the spirit realm to give you spirit and truth and the light to put in your right hand. So you can see in the darkness of all this chaos that's in the world. Ain't nobody caring about that, Deborah. Nobody caring about that. And it's right before us. And no one gives a rat's. Okay. So I like that. But it's another word. It's another something. He said, for where ye. Now listen to what he says here. And this is why I say y'all messed up. You messed up for real. Listen to what he said in verse 9. Woo-wee. Did y'all know I would have never thought of this here? In verse 9, we're still in Mark chapter 7 and verse 9. And he said unto them, fully well ye reject the commandments of Yah. Woo-wee. Fully well ye reject the commandment of Yah. You see that? Watch this here. Watch this. Watch this. That ye may keep your own tradition. Your own traditions. Now, could someone tell me Where is the spiritual power in verse 7 and 8? Something going on in 7 and 8. I had to go back there because when he took me to 9, I see something that blow away any and everything. Anybody can say anything about a commandment. Do y'all see what's going on? Anybody in the live chat? Lisa, somebody. Anybody in the live chat can see a power punch in verse 7 and 8. And this thing come by the Spirit. Revelation chapter 10 and verse 7. The mystery coming by the prophets and the prophets only. He letting you know then and now. So if you got these people call themselves prophetess, and this is why people are hanging up on them, you need to follow. Because we're dealing with something right here and now. We're dealing right here and now with Matthew's chapter 7, not Matthew's, Mark chapter 7, verse 7 and 8. Who can tell me where is the power punch in the Spirit? Thank you. What you say? You stuck on the Deuteronomy 20. Just do worshiping Deuteronomy 28. There's a very powerful punch in Mark chapter 7 and 8. And you know what? It's so powerful to where I really do want to, I feel bad for the Creator. I know I shouldn't say that. I might get in trouble. I really feel sad for the Most High Yah, because he was telling me, the book that they say that is my word, they can't even find truth in it. They can't even comprehend it. I told them to study it to show themselves. He said they can't even study it to show themselves. That's how far. So when people talk about Bibles, the Bible is in the Bible, or use the Bible to beat you and to destroy you, they're using it a way that they are already destroyed. Because the Bible cannot destroy you. It cannot beat you down. I try to explain to y'all, when I go into this book, only way I can truly understand this is through the Spirit. And the reason why it's important for me to say that to you is because I must give the glory to where it's due. He said, greater is he. I feel he is greater in me than he that is in the world. It's no way the world could show me what I just saw. No way the world could show me what I just saw. Even though, as I'm saying it to you, he's saying it to me. Even if the world showed you or couldn't show you, you knew it. That's what the Father's saying to my spirit. But you knew it, Deborah. And you know why he's saying I knew it? Because I just spoke it to y'all. I just spoke it to y'all. And when we tell you what he's talking about, as I'm speaking to you, he's speaking to me. He's telling me, even though you saying it to them, Deborah, you knew it. It's impossible for me to know it if he wasn't in me so great for me to know it. So I do give him glory and honor for suffering me to already know it, because I was speaking it to you all before I see it. I still spoke it because I believe, based on what he taught me in the wilderness, and what he taught me before the foundation of the world when I was a little girl, is these things been broke down in twos. That's why there's 2 books that tells all stories of everybody's life. A book for the life, book of the book to the book of life, and there's a book for the books for those who go into the lake of fire. These books has already been present before anything was even created. That was 2 books, 2 destinies, not 3 and 4 and 5. So even that tells me everything is wrapped in twos. So as he taught me as a little girl, I still hold firm to it, because the more I hear people teaching, preaching, and trying to reveal to people, to me, it's like they're taking you too far out, y'all. When we in such a critical time where you should be pulling in. You should be pulling in and pulling up, but everybody's going further out. Even when I ask questions, it's like people still so far from truth, so far from the light that they can't come up with the simple questions. And it's not your fault. It's me. It's me wanting you to know what Yah has already revealed to me. So it's nobody's fault but mine. Because I'm still stuck in stupid believing that he could give the keys to others. He could show the others the way to the narrow gate. Truly, there's others. But I have to embrace, along with repent, because I have to stop thinking people can go with me where he has ordained me to go in him. And they can. So I spoke to you all about the twos. I tried to explain to people about the commandments. They can beat you, whoop you, abuse you, mislead you, and have no idea how is it that it wrapped around the commandments was wrapped. We got on the thing about commandments, and I was explaining to you all that there's two commandments. I was breaking that thing down to y'all that there's two commandments. One is the tradition of man, and one is in the spirit. The one that's in the spirit created the one that man is lying about. That man is created to be a lie, to deceive you. When you understand that the true commandments, it's not going to be on the outer man. The true commandment is going to be on the inner man. He said you can't worship him in your flesh. That means that when you think your flesh can really commune and deal with Yah one-on-one, you're already doomed. Because Yah said you can't deal with him in the flesh. And I don't blame them. Why? Because the flesh is already assigned. That's why your flesh is your worst enemy. Because he don't care about your tomorrow, your yesterday, where you're going, how you look, how you feeling. It don't care about none of that. It don't care if you die today or tomorrow. All it knows is whenever you die, I'm just going back where I come from, the ground. That's how much it loves you. But then it's this one part of you that's going to spend eternal somewhere. One in the kingdom and one in the lake of hell. Which one has your flesh led you to believe? You see? So when we're talking about commandments, I try my best to make y'all understand that this book is words. The creator is the word. What I just saw was what he wanted me to see. I never, ever, ever, ever pinpointed this until today. Because I was wearing you out on the two commandments. One is the spirit and one is for the flesh, which is the commandments of man. That's why when this Hebrew Israelite movement, they wear your tails out about keeping the commandments. That's their traditions. Remember, I was telling you back in Torah, they like to bring all those traditions to get you to think that you can actually hold something they couldn't hold back then up. And as I begin to tell you and break down that there's two commandments in the heavens, just like everything else was two. When there's two commandments, they're not two in the heavens, but they're two separate commandments. You got to understand that, you guys, because only one of those commandments will lead you to the Lamb book of life. The other commandments will lead you to the lake of hell. So if you grip your tail up in the commandments and the traditions of man, you're going to hell. That's why it's so important to seek the face of the Most High Yah. And his face is his power. And his power is his face. And his power is controlled by his word. If he spoke death take off with the power to zip that breath of life right out of you. Why? Why is that death can do that? Because it's moving with the power from the word. Woo-wee! That's the difference in the words in which you study and Yah, the word. Praise the mighty Yah. Now, I'm finna lay it on you and I'm out of here. And I feel really, I do, and I'm going to pray about it, and it could be me. I feel bad that I can sit up on this devil platform and be teaching y'all this pure spirit and truth with the light, and I feel like I'm talking to a brick wall. I really do. And it seems like it's getting worse and worse. And I know it where we're in. I know we are in that such a critical, dark time to where if they didn't believe Yah then, they ain't going to believe him now. So I'm going to show you where it's at, because the Spirit spoke to me and he said, but you knew it. When he showed me this, you know what he said to me? But you knew it. How did I know it? Let me tell you how. Greater is he that is in me. That is he that is in any world. That's how I knew it. Through his Spirit do I know it. And when he said that to me, that's what made me realize again how narrow the gate that leads to life really is. And this is why people are not going to find it, because they all head into the broad gate and think the way is where everybody's going. Everybody's believing, everybody's understanding, everybody's feeling, and he's going to let you go the way you assigned. Okay, now here it goes. Sister Deborah said to you all that there's 2 commandments. Okay, I never have no connection to what I'm about to show you. But when I said that to you and I backed up and still fulfilled what I was saying, the Spirit spoke to my spirit and said, bam, look at it. But when he said, look at it, he said, look at the 2 difference. And when he said that and I saw it, it's over, Father. It's over, just like you said. Now watch it. Here we go. Come go with me here, you guys. Come go with me here. Matthew chapter 7 and verse 7. Howbeit is vain. Howbeit in vain do they worship me. This is what Yeshua said. Deborah, they doing it in vain. They worshiping me in vain. Watch what he says. Teaching for doctrines and commandments of men. In verse 7, there's a spiritual power punch, and the spiritual power punch is meant to hit you in the spirit realm, that no matter where you go in life from this day on, you got it. And that's what he wanted me to see it. And then when I saw it, he said, but you already knew it. Why? Greater is he that's in me that knows all things. And that's why I was able to speak it to you all before I was able to meditate on seeing it. Look where it's at in verse 7. In verse 7, Mark chapter 7 and verse 7. He says they worship him in vain. This is what they're doing. They're teaching for doctrines. Do y'all see doctrine has an S on it? Do y'all see that? And I need a thumbs up if you see the teaching for the doctrines with an S and the commandments with an S of men. Do you see commandments with an S on it? Thank you so much, Kay. Thank you so much. That was very good. I'm glad you threw up that. Now you see, but what is it saying that commandment is of who? Man. Do you see that? He says that commandment with an S, it's of man. Men, not man's. Man, but men. He letting you know of men. M-E-N. Right? That's right. Now, let's go to verse 8. Watch how it switches up. And then you're going to see the twos in which I was speaking to you all. Commandments are 2 commandments that's spoken in this book. You have to be able to be up under the Ruach to understand that there's two commandments and they're totally different, separate commandments. And this is what they beat you all over the head with, the commandments of man. Now, look at verse 8. For laying aside the commandment of Yah. Notice Yah don't have an S on it. Praise the mighty Yah. That come to separate man's commandments and tradition from the Father's commandment. You notice his commandment don't have an S on it, but man's has an S. Men's has an S. With man's in verse 7, Mark chapter 7, verse 7, it shows you that commandments with the S of men. You all had no idea that man been pushing on you all their commandments. Man been feeding you all their commandments. That's what they've been beating you all and winning you all over. That's how they've been capturing you. That's why Yeshua said, yeah, but they're trying to worship me in vain. How are they worshiping me in vain? You see, that's what Yeshua was saying. You see what I'm saying? Yeshua was saying they worshiping me in vain. You see? He's letting you know right then. These men ain't about what they're supposed to be about. And then he tells you in verse 7, there are doctrines and commandments of men. And then in verse 8, when he first started off in verse 8, for laying aside the commandment of Yah. You guys, there's a difference from the commandments of men and the commandment of Yah. When you're doing your twos, Yah gonna always roll up singular. Okay? He's not gonna roll up what they call more than one. He's gonna roll up single. That's why he's letting you know that what this sister is showing you, his commandment is not like unto man's commandments, men's doctrine, nor commandments. He's telling you all it's totally separate. Totally. Now watch what he says. Ye hold the traditions of men as the washing of pots and cups with an S. So he's letting you know you're dealing in the ways of man. And many other such things with an S, ye do. Yeshua is letting you know. Yesterday and today, you all are worshiping the flesh of man. Idol gods. Men, M-E-N. Men worshiping men. That's why they can't get on path right. That's why I can't understand these men act like they don't have no balls. I said that because they seem to catch on to what that means. That they're following men. Tails everywhere they go. And I love what he said right then and there. He separated it by sight, even though I spoke it by spirit. He showed me the two difference in the commandments in which I was giving you all, breaking it down into twos. And he turned around and he separated. I love that because now I can use that the rest of my life and get all the other verses that explain commandment. And that's in Mark chapter 7, verse 7 and 8. You can always, no. Wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. He got something else he's saying here. It's something else he said in verse 9. Look at verse 9. Mark chapter 7 and verse 9. And he said unto them, for well ye reject commandment of Yah. You notice that commandment don't have an S. Y'all don't get it. Y'all been rejecting the commandment of Yah, following the commandments of man. Going back to serving the flesh of man and rejecting the spirit of Yah. You see? And that's what he said in 9 of Yah, that ye may keep your own traditions. You want to follow the flesh. You really want to feel that thing, like you're doing something, like you in there. That's what the people do on this devil platform. They really think they in there. They really think they got truth. They really think they following something because they follow in the flesh of every man here. And none of them seem to see what's going on. Let me tell you what I did earlier today. So I like that there. Right there, I must put that in my spirit and never forget the twos of the commandments. Because when these men begin to talk about the commandment, I want you to understand, wait a minute, divide what commandment they talking about. Their traditions and doctrines and tradition commandments, or Yah commandment without an S. There's two. I told y'all it was two. See, that's the thing about it that I really feel bad about, is that you can be on here so long and you can be teaching such how would I say it? I ain't even call it pure, heavenly bound order of word from Yah, but yet it feels like you talking just to yourself, you know. And that's why he has to remind me about my lane, because in that lane it's already predestined to go and to be what it's supposed to be, and that's where I have to remain in. And because I was called as a prophetess, I find myself in this midnight hour doing teaching. And that's what he's meaning. Your lane is a prophetess. You see, you can come up out of there and you can teach these people, because greater is me in you to teach them. But don't forget your lane. You don't have to give nobody nothing. You got a lane to go to. You see? So I thank him for even giving me the mindset to continue to teach. But he also wants me to remember, you got a lane. These people are going every way outside of anything that consists of order, righteous, just, upright, the spirit of Yah. They wants to go the way of man. He said you can show 1 billion of them. Just to lay it out, it ain't going to change it. Why? Because heaven's already orchestrated the beginning to the end. I want to share something else with you all that I was dealing with today. And I started to do it. And then I just said, you know what? I'm not going to do that, because it's not going to help Judith. Judith is in a situation where they're gone. Judith is gone, y'all. And me doing this is not going to help them. And what I did, I set up and I was listening to Europeans speak. And I was videoing them in what they were saying. And while I was doing that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait for the next one. Then I video him. Then I video this one. And just like 2-3 minutes of what they were saying, not the whole thing. And in me, I wanted to make up 10 of them and bring it to this platform to show you all that there's something wrong when Yah is giving them some input of what is really about to happen. And you got Judah and Israel over here don't give a rat's behind about what's going on or what's about to happen. They just living in the moment, destroying and killing, taking and destroying their community, their families. They've been destroyed, their families. They did it. The men did it to themselves. And they don't understand the children and the women come from out of your womb. The men don't understand that living was put in his womb. So the woman and the daughters and the sons come from your womb. You was carrying the seeds of living. So any ways that you see today came from out of your way, your ways. That's why he kept saying, I will visit the iniquity and the iniquity and the sins of the father. Because it all comes from out of the man learn, his womb. These men will never, ever own that thing. They won't preach it. They won't teach it. And guess what? Don't think they don't hear it, Sister Deborah. Don't think they don't hear it. But they didn't led y'all tails down such a horrible rabbit hole. Like that Dawes guy, he done led them people down a deep rabbit hole. He think he got himself and the hole It's not created to be destroyed. But that's what I love about the mighty right hand of the Father. He always come right on time. The way he does things, he let things just go. And look at all these things that the elites are doing. Thousands of, not thousands, years they've been doing it. Hundreds of years. Y'all ain't come to stop them. Because everybody don't understand. Y'all fulfilling his will of his word. And how you know? He told you about all this darkness in the end days. He told us about all this wickedness. All this stuff that's going on, he been told us about it. That's why he saved Revelation for victory over all this mess. That's why. Because he's been warning us. We just look at it and say, oh, we ain't worried about it. I'm living my life. And you don't even understand. You ain't even gotten there. But your spirit that's going to stand before judgment is going to tell you really what you've been living. You see? And these guys, I was listening to these guys and I started videoing them, and just like a few minutes, just wanted to bring it onto to this page. Just let y'all hear that Sister Deborah is hearing these from these Europeans. And I'm like, how are you allowing them to know? You see? Because he know Judah don't want to know nothing right. Judah don't want to know nothing right. Judah don't want to walk in anything. Why do he know that? Because he's been dealing with Judah, y'all, thousands of years. He's been dealing with Judah. So what he'll do is he'll take the ones that he want to speak what is about to happen. You got these Europeans talking about every step of Revelation. Then you get on here and you hear all the Negroes out here fussing and fighting. From the world to the so-called church, they fussing and fighting. They ain't no church in y'all, in the body of Hamashiach. They're in the church on the outside. They're not the church on the inside, y'all. Don't get that bent. They the church on the outside, portraying to be the church on the inside, but they the church on the outside. And you got them in the world, Drake and this other guy, and you see the guys are killing each other and everybody's destroyed, just all up in the place. And then you see these here Europeans pulling up with the truth of what's taking place and what is before us. And I'm like saying, Father, how is it they get to pull up with it? It's because y'all let us know. Nobody tell him what to do, but what he got the power to do with it. He see Israel is a hot mess. All he's dealing with Israel right now is judgment, the fire, judgment. So that tells me ain't no good gonna come out of Israel. They thinking there's some good gonna come. Ain't no good gonna come out of Israel. And if you stand your stupid tails down here on this earth and see what Israel doing and thinking that they all that and some, you've been up and you've been down, and you better check out Revelation chapter 20 regarding the books to the lake of hell. He ain't playing with y'all tails. He ain't never been playing with you. He just held you up until this time. Because he knows what he's taking over there to get glory, he's going to clean up. But they are also heathens that are blameless. They are the ones that's carrying the spiritual seed. You might not know that they are, but they are. And you don't have to know. He know. He know who his small remnant is that he's taking over to the promised land, where he going to clean them up and get the glory. Okay? He don't owe you nothing. You ain't done nothing that has to do with him since you've been here. People didn't raised and had babies and grandbabies and ain't taught them nothing about the Most High. Ain't led them to no light. Ain't gave them no spirit and truth and thinking, hey, I'm going. I'm ready. I'm ready. No, you ain't ready nothing. Go on, think that. You're going to be shocked as these days go on. It's going to be more shocking and shocking. And I was trying to figure out how is it that the Gentiles are, not the Gentiles, I said the Europeans are speaking that which is prophesied. Why are they the ones speaking it? And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm gonna make all these videos so people can see this. And then I said, you know what, Father? It wouldn't even be worth trying to show it to Judah. He said, nope, it wouldn't. Ain't nothing been hidden from Judah. Nothing. Judah, they ain't nothing been hidden from him. Even Jacob told him at the end day before he died. Ain't nothing been hidden from him. That's the scapegoat if they say it has been. That's why they use all the things that has happened in the 400 years outside of getting to know who I am in the 400 years. They use something to justify, clarify, and identify the 400 years as being something somebody did to them. And I've been telling them since the beginning of time, I did that. My right hand, my word spoke it, and my right hand brought it forth. That's why your butt where you at. And to blame the world, to blame the Europeans, the Iraqis, I think the Iraq and Iran them was part of it. The British and all of them was part of it. But I just would not just say Russia was, because I don't think they dealt with it. But Russia is European, so I don't know. You can't too much say that. But regardless what part that they played in it, guess what? Y'all put your tail here so they can play a part in it. And this is where he said they deny the power. See, when you deny the power, you deny the word. When you deny the word, you deny the power. That's why he said the power they're in, that were, rest in my word. They deny it. So a lot of times you're thinking you got it made because these men had told you to wrap your head, eat this, do this, do this, do this. Traditions of men, men's commandments, and fail to realize when that Ruach pull up, he is the commandment. So many of people continue to live this life as if the commandment is something they got the power and authority to uphold. Baby, your flesh will never uphold no commandments. Only that which is in you, which is spirit. And that's if you got the Ruach of the Most High God. So I hope you got something out of it, but I will say that I will be back. And I hope you got something out of this message. Anybody have any question? Anybody, you got a few minutes. I just looked at here and we got a few minutes for questions. And that's it. They want the worship. They want the glory. They want the worship. They want the honor. They want it all. And that's they all because of their traditions. And that's why they beating everybody with these Bibles. They quick to say, but what did the Bible say? What did the Bible say? Baby, the Bible is words. Let's pull up what the Spirit is saying. That's why they don't want no prophet. That's why they don't want no prophetess. It's because we have no other reason outside to pull up in the spirit of truth. See, they gonna grab the books because they've been beating people with the books. But as you just read in Mark chapter 7, verse 7, 8, and 9, they don't understand. He says they want to follow the traditions of man and man's commandments and doctrines. But they don't want to follow the command of Yah. See, Yah got a command. He is the command. That's what I'm saying. People don't get that. They don't know that. They don't know that these men are not upholding no commandments. They didn't hold it back in Torah. They ain't gonna uphold it now. So and I think that's kind of sad. You know, it's just it's sad because we want to uphold the ways of the flesh of a man, of the men, and don't want to uphold the spiritual way of Yah. That's why he said they deny the power therein. You know, because and when he's talking, a lot of people ain't never focused on where he talked about the great falling away. Hell has enlarging herself. You know, and I do know the hell is also the grave. Okay. But the lake of fire is where all the books of people written is going. And it's just like people say, so what? We'll cross that bridge when we get it. Not knowing that that's a bridge this sister wouldn't even want to think that exists. Because I wouldn't want to cross that. Because it'll be in hell. Not in hell, in the lake of fire. That bridge they think they're going to cross, it'll be in the lake of fire. So no one has any questions? I'm glad you got something out of it. Yes, they do keep it about. You got First Timothy. Yeah, is that First Timothy? Yeah, let me see if that's First Timothy. You got something in First Timothy? Because I know 2 Timothy in chapter 3, it tells you all about these men today. Why ain't nobody preaching that thing? Why ain't these sisters getting up upholding that? Why ain't these men of the Most High upholding that? So it shows you what? What does that show? Let me tell you what it shows this prophet, that his word is truth, the gate that leads to what is righteous, the gate to everlasting life. Very few is going to find it. That's what that tells me. You got that 1 Timothy 6:3. Okay, and in 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 3. If any man teach otherwise and consent not to wholesome words, even the words of the Lord Yeshua HaMashiach, and to the doctrine which is according to godliness. Verse 4, he is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions, and strives of words, which cometh envy, strife, and willing, evil, submissing. Now, this one right here talks about if any man teaches otherwise and consent not to the wholesome words, even the words of Yeshua HaMashiach. Now, that's what we just read. Yeshua HaMashiach was teaching us about the doctrine, and to the doctrine which is according to godliness. Now, there you go again. What's the power punch? What's the power punch in 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 3? There's a power punch right there. There's a power punch right there. And that's what I was saying. Through the Spirit do we understand. And only through the Spirit. Do y'all see the power punch in 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 3? Do you see it? 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 3. Let me know if you see it. And I'll give you a few minutes. If not, I will proceed. And through the Spirit, do you see these things? And that's why it's important for him to make sure in these end days that he show it and make it known in the Spirit, so that we that are not lost in this darkness hour, that we're in. Now, see in 1 Timothy chapter 6, okay, and verse 3. Let's read again. If any man teach otherwise and consent not to the wholesome words, even the words of Yeshua HaMashiach, and to do the doctrine which is according to godliness. Look at the word doctrine. You know it doesn't have an S. You know it does not have an S. It doesn't have an S. This just leads you to know it falls under that guideline of Spirit. It's everything is broke down in twos. Here it's telling you that the words of the Lord, it said the Lord Jesus Christ, but of Yeshua HaMashiach, and to the doctrine which is according to the godliness. And you notice it kept saying the words. This is where man messes up and add an S to the words, okay? But it was floated. It float with the words, but the mystery rests right at the word doctrine. The doctrine which is according to godliness. Why isn't it saying doctrines with an S? Since it's using words with an S. Let's go. Mark chapter 7, okay, and verse 7. Howbeit vain do they worship me. Watch this. Teaching for the doctrines. You see with the S? You see the S? So it's actually separating, showing you the doctrines of the commandments of men. Because this doctrine is men teaching. You see? So it comes with an S. But this doctrine, it's a spiritual doctrine. And that's why it says, which is according to godliness. Because it is the spiritual doctrine. So that's the difference in the two. That I call them spiritual power punch, because it's actually showing you that even everything is broken twos, so that you can understand it and be able to teach it to people, the difference. You got one doctrine in the spirit, and then you got doctrines, which is in the flesh. That's the part that man teaches. So here in 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 3 is speaking of spiritual doctrine, not man's doctrines, but spiritual doctrine. Okay, so that's also the difference in when they're saying it. You have to be able, because what the Father did, he put everything that consists of him in a oneness. Okay, you can find him in the oneness, and those that are not in him, or anything that's going on that's not in a oneness, and it's adding an S to it, or many, then that's different. That's totally different. It's almost like born of the flesh versus born of the spirit. When you're born of the spirit, you're coming in a oneness in Yah. That's why he said, I abide in you and you abide in me, and we become one. Everything Yah come down to do with those who will return back to the Lamb Book of Life are in one. Always. So I, Sister Deborah, say unto you, I hope you got something out of it. And keep studying, and not studying, not so much as studying, but keep seeking Yah in spirit and in truth. Seek his light, seek him, and desire him to lead and guide you, because he will, without a doubt. But we must not lead to our own understanding. We must be able to separate where the world is today versus the spiritual walk of where Yah is at and leading us today. We don't want to end up getting out here in the world. Even if you got out in the world, he already know what is his. He's going to pull you out. He's going to pull you out. And I say unto you all, keep seeking the face of Yah and his word. And not put your trust in no man, no woman either. No matter what position people are, or we are, I am, nobody. Don't put your trust in us. Put it in the Most High Yah. And I, Sister Deborah, appreciate each and every last one of you all tuning in. And I will be back.